Novelty with S&B is a show about two sisters-in-law who share their love of books and tea.
Sometimes they read together, sometimes not. Sometimes horror, but mostly smut.
They review and recommend the books they've read and chat about other fun topics too.
Don't worry, they won't spoil anything, and if they do, they'll warn you.
Also be warned, this show is not for kids or for anyone who might be offended by horror or sex talk, or both.
Looking at you, Mom.
Hello, and welcome back to Novelty with S&B, the book club with a podcast. I'm your co-host, Bekk.
And I'm Stephanie.
This is our Thirsty Tomes and Tea episode, but since we recorded this all at once with our 2023 Wrapped, we'll go straight to our KU Cringe book because we are just drinking the same teas, which I guess was the Christmas tea by Twinnings and then your peppermint
Candy by the English Tea Shop.
Okay. So how was COVID Claus?
Okay. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
So COVID Claus was laugh out loud funny. Like I saved some quotes that I'm going to be reading. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So stupid. So she's a zoologist. Okay.
Right.
No, it was the animals she spent most of her alone time with. And it wasn't like she could do anything sexual with them. Not again.
What?
Yeah. Wait. But alas, this is from another part of the book, but alas, she would be left without climax. Much like the ending of The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Why?
I was gonna make you sad, but it's funny. And then my favorite.
Your favorite? Okay.
Here's my favorite. Hopefully I can get it out. It's so stupid, but my random. Anyways. From above her was a clatter, which sounded suspiciously like several coconuts being banged together on the roof. The strange thing was, Dr. Mistletoe didn't remember putting any coconuts on the roof at all. So stupid.
Why?
The random made me laugh so hard, man.
That is so random.
I know. I was laughing so hard, like I read it to Adam, and he's just looking at me, and I'm like,
you don't understand.
You have to think random things are funny. It was just random as shit, so I'm laughing. Anyways,
it
was
that's
really
exactly
funny.
Why I won Cards Against Humanity. No, I didn't win. Jeff won.
Oh, that was yeah. But you were like up there with them. It was funny.
Almonds.
Oh God, you're crying laughing.
That was
so
anyway.
Funny. Oh, so but this book was really, really fun. Very smutty, of course, but also hilarious. I mean, it was so funny. I recommend this strictly for the laughs. Like, if you're offended by vulgar sex talk, this is not for you.
I would say probably our podcast isn't either.
Oh yeah, you probably just go ahead and log off. No, but so it's 20 pages of over the top smut and hilarity. It's so short. It's so worth reading. It's 20 pages, dude. And I will say I read this after Christmas, and I kind of wish I would have read it before.
Yeah.
Like a fun little Christmas Eve read, but I didn't get to it. But I want everyone to like just read it. Just put it on your TBR. It's on KU if you can. Like, give it a read. If you want to wait till the next Christmas season, that's fine. It's only 20 pages. It's not even gonna that's nothing. So if you have KU, don't buy it. Don't do that. But if you have Kindle Unlimited, like, give it a go because it's hilarious. It's only 20 pages. Like, just go for it.
Yeah.
So how was your other one?
Mine was Chained to Krampus by K.L. Wyatt.
Oof.
It was crazy. So it's about like every 70 years, the townspeople choose who is going to be sacrificed to Krampus. Most of the time, it ends up being a virgin. Holly is still a virgin at 27.
Good for her.
I know, right? And then it ends up being like she ends up just being like his mate at that point, because like once they lock eyes, you can't see my hands, but I wish you could. Once they lock eyes, they're just fated to each other at that point. And then, you know, like she ends up going to his cave and smutty stuff happens.
Mhm.
And I guess the part that bothered me the most is that like she was very like she was made to be like a little girl almost. Like she had like these like bloomers and like very short haircut and
Oh, and she's
yeah,
27.
and she's 27, so it kind of felt gross in that aspect, but the rest of it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was
So-
pretty good. Yeah.
That's good. And that was only like 37, 47 pages.
It was
too, right?
88 pages.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean, that's still not long.
Yeah, it's not very.
You gave me super short ones.
Yeah.
Like the other one was 18 pages.
I know.
Groped by the Grinch. So.
Which is crazy that that amount of stuff happened within 18 pages.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is, but yeah, they're always great.
Yeah, they're always fun.
So although Christmas is over, it is still indeed winter.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, your next KU cringe assignment is Frostbitten,
Oh no.
a steamy Jack Frost reimagining short. Okay.
Hold on,
and it's by, I had a hard time finding it. It's on Goodreads. It's by Violet Taylor.
Give me a second. I think I found
So
it.
I had to look up like Violet Taylor.
There's, yep.
Got it?
Yep, I got it.
Frostbitten is an erotic dark romance monster short. The stories of Jack Frost meet the tales of
Persephone?
I know how to say this. Yes, Persephone. My daughter was in a play and that was her character.
Oh, really?
And Hades. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And Hades and this steamy reimagining. When Mara falls into a mysterious pool at the base of a mountain cave, she finds herself far from home and in a frozen wastelands of the underworld. A monster rules this place. He craves her warmth and flesh and will do anything to keep her in his icy realm. As her feelings begin to change, she is forced to choose between the life she had up above or the one being offered to her, down below. And as time passes by, it becomes clear that neither may be a choice. Can she save herself and those she loves before it's too late? Frost has waited for centuries for a willing vessel to fall through the pool above. When a living woman lands in his domain, things take an unexpected turn. His cold and loveless kingdom is filled with the heat he can never imagine, while Mara is there and his feelings he didn't believe he could possess. He wanted to keep her in his kingdom of ice, but the clock is ticking up above. Can he stop the inevitable from taking Mara away from him? And then it goes on, but you get the idea. It's a long thing. It's 65 pages. So, and then it says at the bottom of this on Goodreads, Frostbite is a standalone short in the Darkly Depraved Monster series. So, 65 pages. So that's yours.
So, yours was also a monster.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah. This one is Monster Ever After, a part of the Monster Ever After series. It is just called Crow.
Crow?
It's by Layla Fae. He will do anything to protect her from monsters, and most importantly, from himself. After all, he is the worst of them all. Veronica has lived through enough nightmares. She doesn't need another one. And Crow knows he's a grotesque beast, a sight unfit for human eyes. He settles for protecting her from afar and keeping his distance. But he can't help coveting her luscious body and wishing for things he can never have. Her touch, her kisses, her screams of pleasure, and sweet words of surrender. Are you ready for this? Yeah. He can barely fight off the urge to lay his eggs inside her.
No.
And the thing that can alleviate this curse? A true love's kiss, or rather something much more lustful than a kiss. But Crow would never ask it of Veronica, even though his feathers quiver at how much he wants her.
No.
This Birdman Veronica novel. Oh my god, hold on.
I love this part. I just read it. Read it.
This Birdman erotic novella is 20k words long, contains eggs, and is for adult audiences only. It is 80
eggs in all caps.
That's a trigger for Adam. Contains
Yeah,
eggs.
it is a trigger for Adam.
It's 85 pages.
God. Oh, the cover is so.
I know, it's so good.
If you're listening, go look at the cover real quick.
Please.
It's so bad.
Look at his nipples.
God. Look at. And he's just not even a crow. He's just wearing like a fucking cheap ass plague doctor mask. Like,
I know.
oh, and there's tie dye behind him.
I don't know what the tie dye's
What's
for.
the point of the background with the pink?
Oh,
I'm excited.
I know.
You know what I hate? The worst part about this.
I know. I already
It's
have
going-
want to read.
I have to push one to read, and then I have friends on Goodreads now. I mean, not people like I know, but they're gonna be like, "Why the fuck did I add this
What is
girl?
this?
Like, what is this shit?"
They added
Oh,
you for the
God.
other ones, like brother.
Exactly. How does she go from reading brother to fucking crow? Like, listen to our podcast and find out.
Right? It's linked.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so funny though. I love it.
I see yours up right
I
now.
know, it's so good.
Your cover doesn't look as bad as mine.
No.
I'm getting you back next month.
You should.
You need to just read the Milkman made.
I
already.
know, but it's
that
like
one's long though.
it's like
I know.
500 pages or something.
I'm gonna do more research. I'm gonna get you a fucking corny ass Valentine's one or some shit.
You should. Oh yeah, because it's gonna be February.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you back. No,
That's fine.
No, they're hilarious. They're funny.
Like I spoke about in our last episode, I read some cringe before we even started the podcast that I was not happy about. But now, because it's an assignment, I don't feel so
Yes.
bad.
Exactly. You're like gonna start messaging me. Hey,
Hey, can
pick
you?
this book out for me because I really want to read it, but I have to have an
Hey, by the way, look at this one.
It's funny. You know what's so exciting about these the KU cringe assignments for me is that, like, for anyone listening, we don't tell each other.
No.
It's a surprise. Like, we have a script for our show, which I'm sure you guys can tell, but it will just say like KU cringe assignment, and we don't tell each other beforehand. So it makes it. That's why we like lose our mind laughing,
I
because
know.
it's literally brand new for us. So it's just,
And
and
I,
it's
have
I get so excited to tell her, but
I
I
know.
don't. Yeah,
I keep a list just so I'm like prepared and that like I don't have to do it. Like I don't have to muck
Do you
up my
keep a-
Goodreads.
Is it a spread? Is it a spreadsheet?
It's on my spreadsheet, yes.
I see you're bringing up your spreadsheet too. Becky loves.
I do love
Spreadsheets.
spreadsheets. I'm gonna make you do a spreadsheet though. So next
Okay.
year
Yeah,
we have more data to back up.
that's
our,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So spreadsheets.
spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
Times. So with all of that being said, we will get into our 2024 reading goals. I think number one for me is I want to visit my library more. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't go to my library, and I feel like I'd rather not waste money on books that because okay, so Kindle Unlimited, great program, love it. But it's not always going to have 5-star reads on it, right?
Right.
And I'm not going to know if it's a 5-star read. So I'd rather not
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on that. I hear
So
you
if
on
I
that
can
for
go
sure.
to my library, and I feel like libraries are such a good thing for the infrastructure of, cities and stuff. So I might as well support my local library.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So what's your first?
My first is to find more obscure books. So
Oh.
we kind of talked a little bit about this in the last episode. So as everyone knows, I know I've said it a million times, but I got back into reading. It was like the fall of 2022, thanks to Bekk and Book Talk. So if you look at my reads, especially this last year, it's clear that like most of what I read is on Book Talk. So it is easy to get recommendations from there, but I know there has to be like amazing things out there that I just need to find them. So I want to try to find other books that aren't so big on those. I mean, I don't mind reading them. It's nothing against, I love Book Talk. And I have a great TBR because of it, a very large TBR because of it. But I would like to find stuff that's like not as maybe popular, and because I think I sometimes get more out of those, because I've noticed some of the books that blow up on Book Talk just aren't my thing. Some have been great, but some aren't. So one thing I've noticed is that like on my like Kindle app, a lot of the things it gives me for like recommendations, some of them aren't as popular, and I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh. So I think I might start looking at that a little bit more. It's just kind of hard to find, like where am I going to find these books that, I want to read.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I feel like sometimes TikTok can be a little bit of like an echo chamber. I think I've said that before, where like it's
Mhm.
the same book everybody's talking about. It's like, okay, dude, like what can I actually add to this conversation that is adding value to?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah,
recycled.
exactly.
Right.
So yeah, some of the more obscure books are fun, but
Yeah,
we won't
yeah.
get as much like views on TikTok, which that shouldn't be what is like our motivator by any means, but
Mhm.
it helps.
Yeah, no, like we've been starting to kind of do the more popular ones for
Or
our
read with
us
SMB.
yeah, our read with
Mhm.
SMB, and I think that's good. And I think another thing, if like people are listening to us and or they have been, like we're very honest. We're not just going to
Mhm.
say what everyone else is saying. I mean, unless we agree. Like
Right.
Crowns of Nyaxia series, everyone raves about it. I raved about it. I loved it. But sometimes there's books that everyone raves about, and I'm like,
Uh,
so it's good to
yeah.
give honest opinions that they might not hear in other places on here. So
Right.
yeah. So what's another goal of yours?
I think okay, so the 48 books a year is probably a good challenge for me. That's what it was last year. I
Mm-hmm.
think it just works out well for being about 4 books a month. That works out well also for the podcast because then I have 3 extra topics aside
Right.
from our read with S&B. So I feel like that's actually doable. That's something that is good for the podcast too.
Yeah. So I put mine at 40.
Yeah.
I set my goal at 25 last year and like literally killed it, but I don't want to set the bar too high for myself. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes life happens and I really want to be able to meet my goal with some wiggle room. I would be a person, and I don't care how stupid it sounds, that would be stressed out if I thought by like December 1st, I'm not going to meet my goal.
Yeah. I also
Which is so dumb, but I would. It would stress me out.
yeah, I feel that too. Like I'm looking at that 48 and I'm like, well, I don't want to be as hard as on myself as I was last year because that ended up being a lot of, not so great books. So
Right.
maybe it's just a practice of being like nice to myself. If I don't hit 48, it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just don't like, I see these people who are like, I'm going to tell you what I read in September, and these are the 52 books I read in September.
Yeah,
And I'm
but
like,
that's
what
literally
the
all they do.
frick?
Like there's no way they
Oh,
have full-time jobs at that point.
no. Or cook food
Children
or
or
have kids or just do anything other than read.
life.
I
Yeah.
mean, if it makes you happy, you do you. But
I like video
that
games.
that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Like, good night. So, anyways, yeah. So, I put mine at 40. I read like what 52, but
Mhm.
I think 40 is good for me. It's just in case,
Right.
whatever things happen. I might not get to a month. I might be busy and not get to as many as I'd like, and but I think 40 is for sure a teen. I'll probably surpass it to be honest, but just in case, yeah, I put it at 40.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's your next goal?
I want to be able to purge some of my TBR. I have 119 books on my want to read book
Oh my
shelf.
god.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a little just like too overwhelming, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and I
I
guess
need to do that too.
a lot of it is just okay, I see it on TikTok. I'm going to put it on my want to read or whatever, and then it's like
Absolutely.
what is inevitable? Can you what is that really
Yeah.
something that I really need? And then by the time I read it, it's going to be like off of book talk. So there's a really good
Right.
point.
Right. I was doing that too because I was adding
Yeah.
like every dark romance I saw, and now I'm like kind of steering away from, not completely away, but a little bit away from that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to take some of these off because some of them sound really like I've read this before, so I don't need
Yeah.
to read it
And
again.
like the further down you scroll on my TBR is like the actual books that I'll probably end up reading because like
Yeah.
those actually
Yeah.
seem like
Exactly. Legit.
yeah.
Good.
Well, and like
Yeah,
I have
for
like
sure.
5 different Sleepy Hollow renditions too because of like our
Oh yeah.
so
Our
like
trip.
I don't really need all of those. It's just that I need to remember it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have your own. Do you have a spreadsheet separate from Goodreads or
No, not anymore.
no? Not anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I track everything on Goodreads.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just ends up being
yeah, it makes it easier too.
mhm. Well, and like
Yeah,
you can put because the spreadsheet was mostly for like upcoming titles. Like, okay, I read this series. I need to remember that there's going to be another of this series coming out.
right, right.
So
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
a lot of what the spreadsheet was. I'm like, you know what? I can do this on Goodreads.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, one of my things is rating books. So, I have found that I review books really quickly. So, you know, like when you finish reading the book and
Mhm.
you mark it, like I love marking some. I read something on
I read
Goodreads.
it.
It feels good to like mark it read, and then it's like, oh, how many stars? And I just do it right then.
Mhm.
And I need to stop because I'm reviewing them so quickly without letting them marinate for a while. And I mean, obviously, if it's a bad book, it's a bad book, and if it's a great book, it's a great book. But there is
Mhm.
some in between, and I like maybe I'll give it like 3 stars, and then I'm like,
Well, you know,
I'm thinking about this a lot and
right.
talking about it a lot, and you know, it was probably more like a 4-star. Or maybe even some of my 4 stars may have been a 5-star. And I think what I'm doing is I'm just doing it so quick without like sleeping on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my time rating. I'm not going to just mark it red and then give it a rating right away. I'm going to kind of, because I've noticed that with a lot of books. I'm like, God, I talk about this book all the time.
Yeah.
It might be a
Like the
freaking 5.
hollow
Like
places?
the Hollow Places is one. The Troop I talk about all the time. Like
Mhm.
with people like,
Worms.
oh, have you read The Troop? Have you read The Troop? Because I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And so I really need to like let things simmer for a little bit before I give them a real like good rating. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's one of
That's kind of what I
my
felt with
goals.
Starve Acres. Like I initially wrote it as a 4-star because like I don't know, some of the grammatical or whatever wasn't up to my tastes. But then like the more I thought about it, the more like I was telling people about it and the more I was like dreaming about it or like looking for the
Yeah.
upcoming movie. So I was like, you know what? Like this is a 5-star because of how much it has changed my life for
Yeah.
this week or whatever.
Exactly. If it's something you keep going back to, then for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's one of my goals is letting the story marinate a bit before I rate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of mine is also getting better at reviews because I don't always like I'll do the star rating, but I don't always like actually take the time to type out what my thought process because we do it here, but like that's not everybody listens to our podcast, which is unfortunate, but
they should.
they should. But like I don't actually take the time to build that community, I guess, as far as like, okay, I actually do review books. And if you're interested in what my thought process is, then you can come to the podcast. I feel like that would be, I don't know, better.
Yeah, for sure. I also put that down as one of my goals is to be a little bit more active on Goodreads. But I get into other things with that, so I digress. So what's next for you?
To have more of a presence, I guess, in like the community too. On Goodreads, on Instagram, on TikTok. We're part of some Facebook groups too. And I feel like if we had a little more of a presence, it might do well for the podcast. And not only that, but like to have like an outside perspective of what books are good or what other people think of books, because we do kind of have similar tastes and opinions on a lot of the books that we read. We might be like a star and a half off from each other, but we generally have the same ideas of what is, you know. So I think having like more of integration with the community that gives us more of like an understanding of why the fuck so many people like Colleen Hoover, you know?
Right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I think
I hear
that's
you.
yeah.
I also put mine's mainly with Instagram because I so I have I had an Instagram, I still
Mm-hmm.
have it, Instagram account. I never used it. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if it's because I'm like an old millennial or something, but I love TikTok, which is
Mm-hmm.
new, and I absolutely love it. And Facebook is really good for like old friends and family. You
Yeah.
know, it's not really a we have a Facebook account. It doesn't do
Mm-hmm.
as well, and I think it's just Facebook isn't really the spot for
This.
this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be, but right now, no. Um, but Instagram, you do run
I
the
do.
Instagram, and it does well. So I want to get more active on it. Because I feel, well, first I'm kind of an asshole because I'll post like a TikTok and then you end up posting on Instagram. I'm like, shit, I
No.
should just put it on there. I don't really know how Instagram, like I have to look at it because I'll go through every couple days and like things, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it. And I do want to get more involved with like promotions, like talking to people. Like, you're busy,
Yeah.
you work, I don't. So like I can know, if someone leaves a comment, or just being more uh active, I guess, with like talking with people. I need to start doing that on Instagram. I do it on TikTok. I've been kind of doing a little more of that on TikTok, and I'm guilty of not doing it on Instagram yet. So I just need to like get out of my comfortable TikTok zone and go into Instagram and
I
just
do
embrace it
I
and
do
use it.
see what you mean with like how you feel like Instagram is kind of for a better word, narcissistic almost, where it's like, this is me and this is the thing and look at it. Um
Yeah, that's how I always saw it.
well, I
Like,
like I always try to when I post things, I want to like, how am I adding value to somebody's, like, because nobody gives a shit, right? Like, they don't care that I'm reading this, but if I can add value to what I am reading, or like, you should read it too, or like, I don't know,
yeah.
then it
No,
makes
I
it
know what
more,
you're
yeah,
saying.
it's less narcissistic and more like, this book is amazing, like, you should read this
Yeah.
because, oh my god, it is life changing, or don't read this because it was so cringe, you know what I mean?
It's more interactive and more community based
Right.
than like, look at me.
Yeah, and
I
like,
mean, we don't post like the read I'm a reader aesthetic girl, and
no,
it's just
yeah,
like pretty girls sitting at a coffee shop like reading, because that's honestly, when you were like Instagram, I'm like, ugh.
right.
Like that's where my, unfortunately, like, and I know it's not like that, but that's where now, but that's where my brain went, and I'm like,
No, yeah, there's
but it's
still
not like
that.
that. Bookstagram is pretty good though. It's
Yes.
not as bad. I've noticed that. I've been going through like, okay, and a lot of fun giveaways and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things with authors. So I just need to like
I love book tours, or like
get
bookshelf
into it a
tours
little bit
too.
more.
Those are
Yeah,
fun.
those are fun for sure. For sure. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to get a little bit more active on there this year for sure.
So I already started uploading to YouTube. That was kind of one of my 2024 goals too, is to
Yeah.
get more involved in YouTube. I think it's just more accessible to a lot of people. Um, it's kind of fun, getting those kind of
Yeah.
ambient vibes.
I love
I
that.
know. So I already
It was
started that,
fun.
but I plan on continuing it into the future.
Yeah, I need to add shorts. I need to figure out how you can like,
Make shorts.
so I want to upload, cuz we have them, and I want to upload things we could use for shorts, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to interrupt our um
Big content. Yeah.
episodes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I got to kind of read about that and figure out that. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, YouTube's been fun, and it's doing a lot better than Spotify did already,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, so it is more accessible, it's easier, everyone has it. It's just one of those things. It's
Exactly.
free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think YouTube also helps because, like, honestly, like, well, for me, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, and if I do, it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I open Spotify, it's for music.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm not the only person who's like that.
Probably
So
not.
other people, they might be like me, and like they're more inclined to listen to it on YouTube. Like, they're doing laundry or they're cooking, or
Mhm.
that's what I watch, quote unquote, watch my podcast, watch podcasts that I enjoy. So I think because I think other people may have that same thing too, where my Spotify is really strictly music. I don't really listen to podcasts on it. I know some people do, but
Yeah.
I don't. So if people have that, if they're like that, then I think YouTube helps
Mhm.
with those kind
Well, and
my
I don't
kind of
think
people.
I don't think a whole lot of people have Spotify. I think basically everybody has YouTube, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's for everyone. So
Mhm.
yeah, makes it a lot easier. So another one of my goals is I have yet to listen to an audiobook this year or last year or at all.
Mhm.
So I don't really know why. I always read before bed. It's like when I read, it's my time.
Yeah.
And I don't typically read like in the evening, or I have 3 kids. And I get really into my book when I'm reading, and the last thing I want is like, I'm hungry, blah blah blah.
Mom,
Kid
pay
things.
attention to
Uh,
me.
yeah, and I also don't want to like let me read. I like to be there for
Well,
my
and
children
some
and
of
not
the topics we
ignore them.
read too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
it'd be awkward too.
Mhm.
So, anyways, so that's not going to happen. But during the day while they're at school, I have all the time.
Mhm.
So, I have some personal goals for myself this year, and with those I can definitely incorporate audiobooks. So, one of my goals is to listen to at least one. I wrote within the next couple of months, but I'm going to put the date of March 1st on it because I am
Okay.
a lot better with things if there's a date. So, so I'm going to say I want to at least listen to one audiobook by March 1st and give it a try because I've honestly never done it. So
I like
I feel like
audiobooks.
I'm scared I might tune out what's being said if I'm focused on a task. That
Yeah.
sounds stupid,
No,
but
sometimes like because I listen to them while I'm at work, and I have to listen to them while I'm doing like a monotonous task, like data
Mhm.
entry. Otherwise, like I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go back. Oh, okay. But
Okay.
yeah. So if you're doing like a laundry or like dishes or you're going on a walk or something, it's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Or like I
give
do
it a
it
whirl.
on my drive to work too, because even though it's short
Yeah.
time, but
I was thinking about that too because I leave really early to pick up my son from
Mhm.
school and I sit in the parent pickup line for like a good 20 minutes. Because the line gets ridiculous. I just like
Mhm.
to get there early and get him and get out. But anyways, so that's perfect time as well.
Mhm.
I usually just listen to music and like play some dumb game on my phone. But yeah,
Yeah.
I need to start. I want to start listening to. I want to try an audiobook because again, I don't know if it's for me, but I want to give it. I want to at
You want to
least
give it
try
a
it.
shot. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So
Well, and that
that's
goes
one.
to like the personal like maybe less screen time too. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's more
absolutely.
you're not wasting your
It's not like
time. Yeah.
no, it's not like a mindless activity
Right.
where you're not using any thought.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely. What's another one you got? What's
I
another one of your
think the
goals?
last thing that I have is that I want to take better notes of the books that I read. This is more again for like the podcast. I want to be able to tell people if it's an electronic book, physical book, audiobook, like what month I read the most in, if I bought it, borrowed, KU. I think it just makes better like end of year reviews, and then also better um like for people who are curious to read the books too, right? Like um I read this book, I picked it up at the library, but it's also on Kindle Unlimited or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I just it's easier to have more data, I guess. And like it makes cool like end of the month posts, or um like I don't know, like it's
Yeah.
just I like data, I like spreadsheets, I like to know what exactly happened and all that fun stuff. It really is
Yeah.
kind of at this point just like a diary of like what happened
It
in my
really
life. Yeah,
is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cuz you'll remember like, "Oh, I read this when this happened." It
exactly.
all like intertwines, so it's super fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. And yeah, give me those
Yeah,
spreadsheets
I
and
will.
I will start doing them. Another one of mine, this is just quick, is just explore more genres. Fantasy was a big surprise. I really enjoy it. So I want to give some other categories a shot. I do think I'll enjoy mysteries. And I wouldn't mind reading some historical timepieces, some classic literature. I don't think like I'm a rom-com girl. I don't even like those movies.
Right.
So I might try it, though. I need to stop doing that to myself because that's what locked me away from fantasy is like, I don't like that. I freaking love it. Rom-com, though, I don't know. I might try. It may be a good, like, what do you, like a palate cleanser? Like you like to say, like, just to get the ick away. But I read a lot of ick, so, and it doesn't really bother me. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to explore a little more. Definitely mystery and some classic literature, which I remember you telling me, like, and on the podcast, audiobooks is the way to go because it's kind of hard to read because the time period it was written in, which I totally get. So yeah,
you get stuck with like how it's written, and you're like, well, I don't know if this is
yeah. And then my last thing is the Goodreads. Like you were saying, I want to be a little bit more active on there too. And I was super busy in November and December. I don't have an excuse now. So I remember being like, yeah, I will write about it on Goodreads. And then I sure didn't. So I want to be more active. And then you also have that, you made that little like book discussion thing when we read our Read with S&B.
Oh, the book club group on Goodreads?
Yeah, I need to be more active with that because I haven't been. And I will. I'm going to do it because I think it's a fun place for everyone to kind of share their ideas and for people who listen, if they want to join and give us their thoughts. And I would love to read viewers, like what you guys have to say. What do you think of our reviews? You can challenge us. I would love some more interaction. Drop a line or a comment. And it doesn't have to be on Goodreads. It could be anywhere. Like, I would just love to hear from you. Like, be like, you know what? You said this was a 2-star and I think it's a 4. And then tell me why.
Right.
And I'll be like, dude, you might change my mind.
Exactly.
Or tell me why you like, how did you like this book? And tell me why. Because I love reading different
perspectives,
opinions and perspectives. I think it's so much fun. So also if like you've been listening to us and you're like, God, I really wish they'd read this because I really think they'd enjoy it or whatever, let us know. Like, I would love to be like, you know, oh, our Read with S&B book comes from person,
right?
And who is listening, you know, we would love to like give shout outs, stuff like that. So yeah, just I would love any recommendations, comments, anything you guys have, like, please let us know because we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think I had just one more thing, and it's mostly just like the like what I expect my like monthly reads to be, and like this could be completely shut down in the next like 3 months because I didn't want to do it anymore. But I think it'll be like our buddy read, obviously, and then like a KU book that is like popular on Book Talk, which most of the time our Read with S&B is anyway, but like just to get an additional one, just so you know, we get this one
more
sucked or
people. Yeah, for sure.
And then I do really want to find like one, like I want to call it like a Bekk book where it's like American Gods or Slewfoot or those like really my 5-star reads, right? Like the ones that are amazing. So I'm going to try my best to find like maybe go through like Clive Barker's books or Neil Gaiman or Brom, or like just try to find those like 5-star that for me personally are 5-star, I guess. So like instead of just like being like a vibe reader, which it might go all the way back to, but trying to like put forth the effort of finding those good books, because like I said last episode, I kind of like was disappointed in the books that I read last year because a lot of them weren't great. So,
yeah. It feels like almost like time wasted.
Exactly.
To a point. See, me not having read that much, I'm like, all the books, look at, I read and some of them sucked, and that's okay. So I can see where you're coming from. It sucks to be like an avid reader for this many years and have a year where you're just like, you didn't have the magic.
I know
So,
that
yeah.
could just be like this year feels completely weird, or 2023 felt really weird regardless. So maybe that is playing
it
a
was
little bit
kind
of
of
a role. But
yeah, it sucked.
yeah, it sure did.
There was a lot of things that happened. Yeah.
But so here's trying.
Yeah. Hopefully this year will be better.
Yeah.
Better
And
headspace and things like that.
This episode will be fun to look back to next January too, to be like, Becky, what were you thinking? Come on.
Yeah, like did we meet our goals?
Yeah.
I'm like, I still haven't listened to an audiobook. I'm just playing. But yeah, no, I do plan on doing it. But yeah, that would be fun. We can look back and see if we met our goals and stuff like that. It'll be a good time. For sure.
But that's all I had. Did you have anything else?
I did not. That's it for me.
Well, thank you all for listening to us today. Be sure to check us out on our socials. Again, we are trying to be more active on TikTok and Instagram. I'm not sure how much we're going to put forth effort on Facebook, but Goodreads for sure. We do have a Read with SNB group over there. So if you want to partake in our monthly book club, that would be great. Go ahead and join that if you want to. And as always, the books we discussed, we didn't really discuss a whole lot of books today, but
no,
most of our episodes will be on the website. And we do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to so you can be up to date on our releases.
So that's